Did you know that in Japan, millions of people celebrate Christmas with KFC? But that's nothing compared to the bizarre twists and turns that created American Christmas traditions. Everything you think you know about Christmas? Yeah, most of it started by complete accident. Hey there, this is Abriella Taylor Stories, and get ready, because today we're diving into the strange, shocking, and sometimes hilarious history of American Christmas traditions that nobody talks about. You're about to discover how a soft drink company completely changed how we see Santa Claus forever, why your great-grandparents might have decorated their Christmas trees with spider webs, and the real reason we hang those shiny strips of tinsel everywhere. And stick around until the end, because I'll reveal a forgotten Christmas tradition so weird you won't believe Americans actually did this less than 100 years ago. If you're new here and love uncovering the hidden stories behind everyday things, hit that subscribe button and join our growing community of curious minds. Trust me, after watching this video, you'll never look at your Christmas decorations the same way again. Let's dive in. Picture Santa Claus in your mind right now. Let me guess, jolly old man, rosy cheeks, bright red suit with white fur trim. Well, here's something that'll blow your mind. Before the 1930s, nobody could agree on what Santa actually looked like. Back then, Santa was a total fashion disaster. Sometimes he wore green, blue, or even tan. Some artists drew him as a tall, skinny guy, while others made him look like a creepy elf. He showed up in newspapers looking completely different every single time. But everything changed in 1931 when Coca-Cola hired an artist named Haddon Sundblom. They wanted Santa to sell more Cokes during winter, not exactly the most popular time for cold drinks. Sundblom created a Santa based on Clement Clarke Moore's poem "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," but with one major twist. He dressed Santa in Coca-Cola's brand colors, bright red and white. The ads were everywhere: magazines, billboards, stores, you name it. Year after year, Sundblom's Santa appeared in Coke ads, always with that same warm smile and red suit. Kids grew up seeing this version of Santa countless times every Christmas season. Here's the wild part. This marketing campaign was so successful that it literally rewrote our cultural memory. Department stores started hiring Santas who looked exactly like the Coke version. Other companies copied the design. Even rival beverage companies had to use the red-suited Santa because anything else just looked wrong to people. And get this, by the 1950s, parents were actually apologizing to their kids if a mall Santa's suit wasn't the right shade of Coca-Cola red. The campaign was so powerful that today most people have no idea Santa ever looked any different. A soft drink company basically gave Santa Claus a permanent makeover, and almost nobody questioned it. Let's talk about eggnog, that creamy holiday drink that has a seriously dark past. Back in colonial America, this wasn't just some festive treat. Rum was actually cheaper than clean drinking water, and eggs were a sign of wealth. So rich colonists would throw massive eggnog parties just to show off how many eggs and how much booze they could waste. These parties got so wild that in 1826, an eggnog riot at West Point Military Academy left windows smashed, rooms trashed, and several cadets facing court-martial. Yeah, eggnog was that serious. Speaking of Christmas treats, those striped candy canes in your stocking, they started as straight white sticks of sugar in Germany. The story goes that in 1670, a choir master was tired of kids making noise during Christmas services. He asked a candy maker to create these sugar sticks to keep them quiet, bending them into a shepherd's crook shape to teach them about Jesus. The stripes didn't show up until the 1900s when peppermint became popular. and that's when they really took off. But nothing beats the bizarre story of fruitcake. Believe it or not, this heavy brick of candied fruit used to be the height of luxury in the 1700s. Having enough preserved fruit and nuts to make one was like flexing a designer bag today. European nobles would save their fruitcakes for super special occasions. Some families even kept them for years. But when preserved fruits got cheaper and mass-produced fruitcakes flooded the market, they went from luxury to laughing stock. Now we're at a point where the same fruitcake might be getting regifted for decades. No joke, one family tracked their fruitcake's journey through 32 years of re-gifting. Ever wonder why we hang shiny strips of tinsel on our Christmas trees? Well, it all started with a total accident in Germany during the 1610s. Back then, families used real silver strands to decorate their trees. Fancy, right? But one night, a family of glassblowers couldn't afford silver. When they accidentally broke some glass ornaments, instead of throwing away the shards, they pulled them into thin, glittering strands. They were just trying to save money, but they accidentally invented something that would change Christmas decorating forever. And those twinkling Christmas lights you spend hours untangling every year, they weren't invented for Christmas at all. In 1880, Thomas Edison was trying to show off his new electric light bulbs to convince people to buy them instead of gas lamps. So he strung up his laboratory with electric lights during Christmas. Pure marketing genius. But it was his business partner, Edward Johnson, who took it further. In 1882, he hand-wired 80 red, white, and blue bulbs and wrapped them around his tree. The newspapers called him crazy, but people couldn't resist how magical it looked. Now, about that Christmas tree in your living room, there's a wild reason why we started bringing entire trees inside our homes. In medieval Europe, December 24th was known as Adam and Eve Day, and people would perform plays about paradise. They needed a prop for the Garden of Eden, so they'd bring in what they called a paradise tree, usually a pine decorated with apples. When these plays got banned in the 16th century, people weren't ready to give up their paradise trees. They just started putting them in their homes instead. Those red ball ornaments you hang every year, they're actually inspired by those original apples from paradise. Pretty weird how a theater prop turned into one of our biggest holiday symbols, right? Ready for some truly weird Christmas traditions that most Americans have totally forgotten about? Let's start with the Christmas pickle. And no, I'm not making this up. Supposedly, German parents would hide a glass pickle ornament deep in their Christmas tree, and the first kid to spot it on Christmas morning got an extra present. The funny part, when historians asked actual Germans about this tradition, they were completely confused. Turns out it was probably made up by some clever salespeople in the 1800s to sell more glass ornaments. But somehow, this fake tradition became real in parts of America. Here's one that'll make you squirm. Spider web decorations. In Ukraine, families would actually cover their Christmas trees in fake spider webs and spiders made of paper and wire. The tradition comes from a folk tale about a poor widow who couldn't afford to decorate her tree. When she woke up on Christmas morning, spiders had covered it in beautiful silk webs that turned to silver and gold in the sunlight. This tradition actually made its way to America with Ukrainian immigrants, but it didn't exactly catch on. Wonder why? And then there's the strangest game ever played at Christmas, Hide the Broom. In Norway and parts of early America, families would hide all their brooms on Christmas Eve. Why? Because they seriously believed that witches and evil spirits were extra active on Christmas Eve and would steal their brooms for midnight joyriding. Some families in Pennsylvania Dutch country kept this tradition going into the 1800s. They'd actually fight over who got to hide the broom, because finding it first on Christmas morning meant good luck for the whole year. When you really dig into it, isn't it fascinating how our timeless Christmas traditions are actually a wild mix of marketing campaigns, happy accidents, and straight-up misunderstandings? From Coca-Cola creating our modern Santa to people hiding brooms from Christmas witches, it just shows how traditions can start in the most unexpected ways. Next time someone tells you you're celebrating Christmas wrong, remember this. What we think of as traditional Christmas is really just a bunch of random stuff that somehow stuck around. And that's kind of beautiful, right? It means we're all still creating tomorrow's traditions today. What weird and wonderful Christmas traditions does your family have? Drop them in the comments below. Who knows, maybe your family's strange tradition will be normal in 100 years. If you enjoyed uncovering these hidden holiday stories with me, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you want more fascinating stories about the weird history behind everyday things, subscribe to Abriella Taylor Stories and hit that notification bell. Trust me, we've got plenty more mind-blowing stories coming your way. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.